I coded all 10 candlestick patterns from part 1 exactly as defined, with one non-negotiable rule: zero look-ahead bias. Every signal is confirmed using only the candle that just closed and the candles before it. Never a future price. Never a future close. I ran this across 5 major pairs: Euro dollar, Pound sterling, Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar, and US Canadian, using 6 years of daily price history. And the results are genuinely shocking. But not for the reason most retail traders would assume. Most people see a negative profit factor and conclude candlestick patterns are useless. Quants see something else entirely, a latent structural edge hiding inside the shape of the signal, waiting to be unlocked by better exit logic. Before we look at the numbers, let's talk about how these patterns are actually detected in plain terms, because this is what makes the backtest trustworthy. Every single detector looks backward only. To confirm a hammer, the code checks that the lower shadow is at least twice the length of the real body, that the upper shadow is small, and that the candle formed after a genuine downtrend, using only candles that already closed before it. If any one of those conditions fails, there is no signal. To confirm an evening star, it checks for a strong bullish candle, followed by a small indecisive candle that gaps higher, followed by a bearish candle that closes back below the midpoint of the first candle's body. 3 candles, 3 strict conditions, no exceptions, no peeking ahead. That is what zero look ahead means in practice. The trade only ever knows what a real trader would have known at that exact moment in time. Entry always happens on the next candle's open, never on the signal candle itself. Stops and targets are built from the shape of the pattern itself, not from some arbitrary number I picked afterward. Now, let's go through what actually happened, pair by pair, pattern by pattern. On the euro dollar, 649 trades were generated. Doji was the standout with 394 trades, a win rate just under 56%, and a profit factor above 1, meaning it was actually profitable in raw form. Evening Star fired 91 times with an outstanding win rate near 87%, but the profit factor collapsed to 0.43. Hammer and Shooting Star both underperformed, with win rates below 20%. Bearish Engulfing looked attractive at 64% wins, but its profit factor was only 0.15 because the losses were so much bigger than the wins. On the Pound sterling, we saw 1882 trades. Hammer flipped the script here, only 34% win rate, but a profit factor above 1.3, meaning the winners were large enough to more than cover the frequent small losses. Evening Star again delivered a massive 76% win rate and again a weak profit factor near 0.1, confirming this is not a one-pair fluke. On the Aussie dollar, 711 trades. Hammer was profitable again, profit factor 1.55 off just 68 trades. Evening Star, for the third pair in a row, showed a huge win rate near 75% and a poor profit factor under 0.14. On the Kiwi dollar, 720 trades. 3 white soldiers actually turned a solid profit factor of 1.44 here, its best pair by far. Evening Star, again, 80% win rate, profit factor under 0.2. And on US Canadian, 698 trades. Shooting Star and Hammer both posted profit factors above 1 here, a reversal from what we saw on Euro dollar. Evening Star, one more time, nearly 80% win rate, profit factor barely above 0.12. Do you see the pattern inside the pattern? Evening Star is the most consistent signal in this entire study. Across all 5 currency pairs, its win rate never dropped below 75%. Not once. That is an extraordinarily reliable signal for spotting market tops. But in every single case, the profit factor stayed below 0.45. High accuracy, negative expectancy. That combination only means one thing: the entries are excellent and the exits are broken. A handful of large losing trades are wiping out dozens of small winners. Hammer tells the opposite story. Low win rates often below 35%, but on 3 of the 5 pairs it produced a profit factor above 1. That is the classic asymmetric payoff profile. Lots of small losses, occasional large wins, and it is often dismissed by beginners who only look at win rate and walk away disappointed. A few honest caveats before you take any of this as gospel. First, patterns like bullish engulfing, morningstar, piercing line, and dark cloud cover barely fired at all on some pairs, sometimes just 1 or 2 trades in 6 years. That is not a coding bug, that is because spot currency markets rarely gap the way stocks do on a daily chart, and several of these patterns were originally defined around gap behavior. With so few trades, those results are statistical noise, not evidence of anything. Second, this is daily time frame only. Faster time frames like 1 hour or 15 minutes will very likely produce more frequent signals and a completely different risk profile. If you want to see that test, tell me in the comments. Third, none of this includes spread or commission. Once you subtract realistic trading costs, several of these marginal positive results could easily flip negative. So here is the actual takeaway. Raw candlestick patterns are not standalone trading strategies, and anyone selling you that idea is skipping this exact analysis. But they are not useless either. They contain a real, measurable, repeatable structural edge, especially evening star for spotting reversals and hammer for asymmetric long entries. The problem the whole way through has been exit logic, not signal detection. In part 3, we take evening star specifically since it is the most consistent underperformer with the most consistent accuracy, and we fix it. We will add a volatility-based stop instead of a fixed structural one, filter entries using a trend strength indicator so we avoid catching false tops inside strong uptrends, and rebuild the exit logic from the ground up. The goal: turn an 80% accurate losing pattern into an 80% accurate winning system. Which pattern do you want us to fix next after evening star? Drop it in the comments. Subscribe if you want to see raw patterns turned into real, testable, profitable systems. Trade systematic. Verify everything.